closed on Monday.
Yeah.
I rolled up there, ready to eat. Oh yeah, lights are off.
Y'all not opening them?
No.
I saw your wife singing. Your little girl didn't make it on stage.
Yeah, the instructions were to be there at 5:45, but then the school called and told the parents to be there at 6. So she thought it was an update to the original time. So she got there at 6 and they were already in school. Miscommunication.
Yeah.
Broken-hearted 9-year-old.
You Scotty?
I am.
Scotty Stacy Johnson.
I've heard your name all the time. I think we talked
me
on the
too.
phone the other day.
Yes,
so
sir.
Nice to
Nice
meet
to
you
meet you.
finally.
Yeah.
Okay, because it just popped up
Are
on
you-
my phone.
Can you?
Well, I saw it went live. It popped up on my
I'm so
phone.
nervous.
You're fine. But you got to stop now, right?
Second.
You got to stop now.
No.
Pause.
No, do I need to?
Yeah, go ahead and just wait till it's
You
set.
should. What time was it?
How do I do that? On the camera?
This is where it says stop recording right now. Let's see.
Why? That's right.
His kid is playing in the pen at the thing, so he's going to be late. But Ryan was coming. He wanted to watch his kid.
Elizabeth, you good? All right, good evening. We're going to call the December 2nd, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting to order. We'd like to start with prayer. Mr. Martin, Mr. Prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do give thanks unto you for all the things. We thank you, Lord, for bringing us this far on this day in December. Father God, having been successful in those things that we have placed our hands to on this day. Father, as we sit to dispatch the business of the town, Father God, we ask, Lord, that you endow us with wisdom and knowledge from above. Father God, that through our efforts, that the people will be able to live happy and free lives. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Robinson, do you mind leading us in the pledge?
Ready? Pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is to adopt the agenda for the December 2nd, 2024 board meeting. Any questions on the minutes?
Make the motion that we adopt the agenda as present.
Second.
Okay, I have a first and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion passes 3-0. Next on the agenda is the approval of the November 2024 board minutes.
Make a motion that we accept those minutes.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 3-0. Next is comments, and I'd like to I have a few brief comments I'd like to discuss. Personally, I'd like to thank Mike Rose for his many years of service to the town of Princeton. Congratulate him on his new role as a Johnson County Commissioner. Mike will continue to be a huge asset to the town, and we look forward to working with him on the county level. He was sworn in this morning, and he has now been through 2 meetings. I imagine they're about finished with their second. Also, the 2 acres that we surveyed out at the wastewater treatment parcel, we closed on that property on 11/26. So we are the new owners of that 2-acre parcel that will become part of our expansion. So that has been done. The Princeton Christmas Parade will be this Saturday. All participants should begin to line up at 12 p.m. in front of the Princeton High School parking lot. Candy will be allowed, but as a reminder, do not throw it at people. Throw it directly in front of them. We ask that you throw all the candy onto the ground at the spectators' feet. Like to remind everyone that the town offices will be closed for Christmas on December 24th, 25th, 26th, and January 1st. I hope everyone has a safe and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Our next board meeting will be next year on January 6th. While discussing the board meetings, I just wanted to ask, thought about possibly moving these board meetings to an earlier time, and wanted to see what the board thought about moving them to 6 o'clock if they could make that time. It does say in our ordinance that the meetings are the first Monday at 7 o'clock, but we could change that ordinance in order to help the town staff get home a little earlier, and us as well. But we don't want to create any conflict for anybody if they can't get here, so just kind
That I can't get here is 6.
at 6:30? So 7? Okay. All right.
Yeah, unless I have a special project at work, I know it normally takes me about 46 to 50 minutes to get from Rocky Mountain, so it would put me right at 6 o'clock getting here. I mean,
Okay.
that way I could just come here and then go home from there.
Well, it's got to work for 4 so we can get here, but I was just trying to see if we could move them up any. But,
I'm good either way.
okay. All right, well, I guess for now, we'll say it's 7. And I thought I would ask that question. Last, I would like to welcome Elizabeth Sasser as our new Assistant Town Clerk. Heard nothing but good things about her. The citizens have all talked very highly of her. She will obtain her North Carolina notary this Thursday, and keep up the great work, Elizabeth. Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any comments?
I do, and it's kind of minute, or I guess kind of trivial, but let's make sure that whenever we put the post of how we're going to be closing on the website for Christmas, because like I said, I had several people call me and say, well, are y'all closing every day at 3? Sometimes people they overthink it too much.
Oh, yeah.
If we just put town closing down at 3, we'll open back up, whatever day. And then that way that kind of keeps it from being, misconstrued.
Okay. Any other commissioners like to speak? All right. Next on the agenda is public comments. Persons to be heard. Public comments is the time any citizen can address the board. Speakers are asked to keep proper decorum, present all comments in a civil manner, and limit the time to no more than 5 minutes. When you step to the podium, please state your name and address, and remember this is an opportunity for the board to listen, as they will not respond or answer any impromptu questions. Would anybody like to address the board? All right. Next on the agenda is TRC South Center Street project. Luke Baker is here from TRC and is going to update the board on this project.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Board. So the first project I wanted to hit on is the South Center or South Pine Drainage Improvement Project. Earlier in October, we had a bid opening for this project. It was awarded to Haddock Enterprises, a local contractor here. We had a preliminary construction kickoff meeting in October and went through some submittals to get their pipe and structures approved. During that time, while they were getting the materials approved, we got an additional easement that we were needing to continue that core work between South Pine Street and South Center Street. And so we reached out to the contractor to provide a price for that additional scope of work. So what's in y'all's packet is a breakdown of the change order for that work. This project is funded through a $385,000 grant from Johnston County. It doesn't require a match. It pays for the construction services. As of right now, without allocating any additional funding tonight, y'all have allocated a total of $168,087. So if you were to authorize that additional work tonight, you would have encumbered $354,999 of your $385,000 grant award. We would recommend that the additional $30,000 be retained just for additional construction contingency while that work is ongoing. So I'll kind of stop there while we're on South Pine, see if there's any questions on that one.
Yes, I do have a couple of questions. So the initially, it looks like that Haddock Enterprises through the bid process that they received a bid amount of $83,160, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so this additional work of $186,912 is that on a bid amount also?
Yes, so that would be in additional to the $86,000. We went from the base bid being about 150 linear feet of pipe to adding an additional 350 linear feet of pipe. So the scope of work more or less doubled for the area that they were working in.
But now what I'm asking is, did we go back and rebid this?
It was re-advertised and they were the only ones that bid.
Okay, all right. Okay. And so that the 83,160 is not a part of the 186.
Correct.
Not 12, correct.
Correct. So the construction contract with the 83 plus the 186 would total to $270,072.
So the additional work through the easements, give us a rundown of what we think this work is going to do for us.
So, for one, that main pipe that runs from Center to Pine Street is not within a current easement. So if there was ever a failure in the pipe system through there, a need for the town to maintain it, legally the town would have no right to go in there. By procuring this easement and moving the pipe to a more accessible location, becomes easier for y'all to maintain, make improvements in the future, and prevent anybody from encroaching on that area with, fencing or anything else that may impact your maintenance in the future.
So the pipe that is in the ground now, we're gonna let that stay?
So the pipe that's in the ground will be abandoned in place. So rather than dig the entire old pipe up, what we'll do is we'll fill it with concrete so that it won't collapse in on itself, but it'll be taken out of service where it won't carry drainage anymore. Instead, we're installing 2 additional pipes in its place to carry that stormwater as well as increase the capacity.
And would you happen to know right offhand what size piping?
It's currently at 1 30-inch concrete pipe. We're replacing it with 2 30-inch concrete pipes.
Okay.
Do have a question. With the 83, 160 and the 186, 912, that was what, you said 270, 72, right?
Yes, sir.
So if we have incurred, and I'm just trying to make sure I'm on the right track, the 34,599, that leaves a difference of 84,927. Where's that 84,927?
So part of it is encumbered in the engineering services. So it was part of the survey, design, bidding, environmental permitting for the entire project.
Okay.
So part of it is tied up in the engineering services.
So it is close to $84,000 of engineering services.
Yes, sir.
And will the work here, will it take care of all the work that needs to be done on the South Center Street drainage project?
No, there is additional work that needs to be done to widen the downstream ditches from South Center to the ballpark, as well as do some debris removal on the backside of Cloverdale. So this core project increases the gray infrastructure and adds a place for water to stage until we can get that additional portion funded.
Oh, yeah, and that does remind me. That I saw in here that some type of structure was going to be built upon the land that the town owns on Pine Street.
Yes, sir.
So is that gonna be like a,
So it'll be, we call it a stormwater detention pond.
yeah,
It's essentially a low spot, a pond, that in normal times will be dry. But when it rains, because the downstream section is so flat, it gives that water a place to back up and hold without it getting into the road or into people's houses. So it'll fill up with water, and then as the water downstream goes down, it'll flow back out.
so about how much water was this pond hold?
I believe the parcel is not quite half an acre, and it should average about 3 feet deep, so a good amount.
All right. And so getting back to the South Pine Street project, so this will not complete the project, and you mentioned the fact that there will be ditches that will need to be dug
Yes, sir.
deeper.
Yes, sir. Wider, not
Okay.
less so deeper.
And do we have an estimate of what that would cost?
I don't have a current one prepared. I could go back and put one together. We do know that there should be some additional funding from the Beaver Dam cleanup work down at the wastewater treatment plant. Those projects came in under bid, so once that work is complete, that would reallocate some money from that one that could be used in the South Pine project. We also have the funds for y'all's western drainage improvements work that could be repurposed to complete South Pine. So there are a few different funding mechanisms that we could work through to complete that through.
When you say western, you're saying take funds from the western project, or are you saying there's more than enough funds on the western project, or are you saying that?
So you have your current brick application through FEMA. If that is awarded, we basically requested the maximum amount of the match that y'all would have. So that would release some of the funds that's currently earmarked in the town's budget for the western drainage that could be repurposed for other drainage work elsewhere in town. I wouldn't recommend reallocating that currently until we know that that funding application is going to be successful.
Well, I agree with that.
But that is a potential mechanism to help fund the completion of South Pine.
We have two areas of town there that are both in need, but you know, I don't want to rob them.
You're right. Yeah, I don't want to, rob Peter to pay Paul, but once one is successful, then that would be an avenue.
So you mentioned the cleaning out of ditches. So from the end of South Center Street, the ditch kind of barrels off at an angle, crosses the end of the road, goes out by Delwood. And Delwood don't have much of a ditch, but it does have a crossing there that the DOT put in, a new crossing. But now it comes up to the top of Ballpark Road. It doesn't appear to cross it at that point, but it goes under the road there, and then it fills the ditch up and it floods the ballpark. When that happens, is the plan to clean out that ditch all the way opposite side of road from the ballpark?
Yes, so
farmland, and carry it down to the house between the ballpark and that house?
Yes, so in working with DOT to replace those tiles out in front of the ballpark, what they had recommended was redirecting some of the drainage to the ditch on the opposite side of the ballpark, since there was more capacity in that area and it was wider. So they've actually installed the tile between the ballpark and that home at the low point, lower than the one at the ballpark. So theoretically that would prevent our water that comes down the backside of Delwood and then jumps to the ballpark and then flows down by the ballpark, to keep it on that side of the road where there's more room to get that ditch wider and not get into the parking lot of the ballpark.
Well, just a note for you, on the last heavy rain we had, it crossed the road in front of the ballpark.
Okay.
But that if you're saying it's going to go down both sides,
Yeah,
so
so
we still continue to cross and go down both sides of the road there.
yeah, so it would mostly stay on the right side right now. A lot of the soil and stuff gets through on the upstream side of the driveway tiles to the ballpark, and then there's another tile down at the end of the ballpark. With the expansion of that ditch on the southern side, we would regrade that channel, the western side.
Yeah.
It would keep that drainage coming down Delwood on that side of the road, so that there's more capacity there and hopefully not flood out the ballpark.
And so in theory, it should be moving faster
Correct. Yeah.
from the retainage pond out, the retainage pond on Pine out
Yes.
from
Yeah.
there. In your opinion, would we be better off to go to the ballpark once we get this section in the middle, because this is going to be a holding area?
Mhm.
We'll have all that cleaned up from street to street. Or is it your best? Would it be in our best interest to start at the ballpark and work our way back to South Center?
Yeah, I would typically recommend with any drainage issue starting at your outfall point and working upstream. In this case, because we had that pipe needing to get it relocated and the town parcel that we could make that additional storage, we identified this as kind of the key thing that needed to happen as part of the project. But for the remainder of the ditch widening, I'd start at the low point and work up.
Way back. And once we got back to Center Street, then we would have kind of control of it from there. It would just be going back to clean up
Yes. Yeah.
the head of the ditch. So you said a while ago, Keith asked a question, I come up with $84,927. You said there's gonna be a $30,001 remaining, which leaves an engineering fee of approximately $55,000.
I would have to go back. I cut my phone off, so I don't have my calculator with me.
Okay.
But I can give you a total of what it is. What's encumbered is the entire engineering contract. So part of that is time and material services that if we don't perform for you, then you don't pay it. So, if we spend less time and effort on construction administration and we did spend less on bidding, then that would be additional funds that the town would have.
But you believe that we will have about $30,000 remaining?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to go back to the removal of the tiles in front of the entrance to the ballpark. And so you're proposing sending the water where instead on the ballpark side, that the water will be on the opposite side of the road.
Yes, sir.
And that water is gonna go where at?
It will still outlet at the edge of the ballpark, between the ballpark and the home. It's just currently the grades on the culverts through there. It comes down across from the ballpark, jumps across the road, then flows through the driveway tiles at the ballpark, and then makes that corner. This would keep it on the opposite side of the road where there's more space for us to widen that ditch before it makes that turn at the driveway culverts.
So what's the possibility or the likeliness of, I know the gentleman that lives on the backside of the ballpark, you know, he was fussing about his crops and all being washed out and all this. What is the probability that that will continue?
Well, he went through there, remember probably 2 years ago, and put that Ford crossing in.
Yeah,
Man, that stopped a lot of the backup at the ballpark. So I don't think you're having much more problem there. The problem is now is that ditch on Massey Hole is completely stopped up. It's overgrown, so the water never makes it to the ballpark, to the drain that the DOT put in between the ballpark and that other house. They put in a massive storm drain there. Problem is it can't get there. Before it ever gets to that storm drain, it builds up in the ditch and overflows the road and runs across the road into the ballpark.
Yeah, I believe that's because of a grading, though. I believe it's graded uphill
Well,
on
and it's
that, and
full,
so,
it's
and then
completely
it's
full
got
of
the
trash.
yeah.
It's
But I
got
think-
trees growing.
I think once it's dug out, which with $30,000, we might be able to. get
Yeah,
that
so,
done.
yeah, for that, the ditch that goes from the ballpark up towards Delwood, I mean, we've proposed widening that ditch substantially, almost doubling its size. So getting the vegetation under control where it's not slowing that water down to where it can go over the road, but also giving that extra capacity in the canal gives us, kind of a twofold effect.
And it would still be able to go down the opposite side of the
Yes,
ditch
sir.
to the big chester. Do we have that easement off of the field there? Have we procured that easement?
The whole allotment?
Yeah, I believe we
No,
have,
it's not whole allotment, it's Edmund.
I believe we have it.
It's the Hadner's property.
Hadner property, yeah, we do.
Across the
So
ballpark.
we've got that easement.
Yeah, Holt's across
So
the
we
street.
could possibly carry that on if we have the money
Yes, sir. Yep.
pretty quick. And I think that would be the next place to hit if we can afford to do it.
One
Yeah.
thing we need to look at out there before we just jump on is existing utilities. Make sure there's nothing out there would be in the way of relocating or widening that ditch, because that can be a major expense having to relocate utilities.
Any other discussion or questions?
Oh, and just one more. So is the completion date, still, around December 24th, between December 24th and January 22nd?
We extended it because they need to, the structures associated with the South Pine work are having to be custom made at the precast plant. So because of that, there's a little bit more of a lead time than something that's readily available. So we've extended the deadline right now out until the end of January, but we would work with the contractor to figure out what they can actually procure. With the holidays, people on vacation, sometimes those schedules slide.
So this January 22nd may.
It may need to go further, so it may be like a February completion, depending on how quickly the plant can get those structures cast.
I know he's called in his locates and everything, and he's just waiting on those structures. He's
Yeah.
ready to start, I believe.
Yeah, we had tried to, use some more standard structures just to try and quicken that up. but because of the size of the pipes in there and how close they are in that turn, it just didn't work out. So once we get a more concrete schedule from them on when they can get that material procured, we'll put it in our weekly update and let y'all know, hey, we're looking at a late December start or first of the year start, and it shouldn't take them too long to get it knocked out.
Any other questions?
Then we got the resolution.
Yes, sir. So we have a resolution here, and do we need to do this in the form of a motion, right?
Yes.
So I need a, do I, so do I have
No, I don't think you do, but, it's listed in your packet as 7B. The resolution to amend, and, basically, looks like that, we would just be doing the, change, of the 186,912. And I'll offer you a motion that we, enter into the, change agreement.
all right, we have a motion, we have a second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion passes 3-0. One other question, on the Western Princeton Drainage Project, I noticed that we've been waiting for a railroad for a good little while. Where is that at right now? Has anybody contacted the railroad lately, or do you just wait for them to get back with you?
We've reached out to them. It's a little bit of a cat and mouse game trying to get them engaged with the downtown drainage improvements. That was a big sticking point, was getting them to have the discussion with us, because a lot of the design standards that they want held to physically can't be performed just because of the grades in town. And so there is a back and forth dialogue with them of what they'll allow, what they won't allow, so that we can get that knocked out. Right now, we're tracking towards getting their initial comments addressed and getting that package into them, hopefully by the end of this month, but maybe first of the year.
Okay, so you have comments back from the railroad, and y'all are responding to those comments?
We have unofficial comments back from them, so it's just been phone conversations, nothing in stone yet.
I'm assuming there's probably clearance under the track for that.
Yeah, they typically want 4 feet separation between the rail and the top of the culvert, because of the grades of their own canal and everything upstream. That's nearly impossible. They also want a certain amount of capacity upstream that their own canal doesn't have. So there's a lot of things that you need to kind of point out to them and make sure that they're seeing it.
And if memory serves me correct, that goes from First Street all the way to Center Street. And Center Street will replace that culvert with an oval type culvert that's bigger, but we've already replaced it once.
Yes, so what we're proposing, at least with the Center Street culvert, so that one washed out during Matthew, and it was replaced with, I believe it's 230s right now. What we're proposing is replacing it with a large metal arch culvert similar to what's at Pearl now. There is a sewer conflict through there that is why the smaller pipes were put in initially, was just to get that road back opened up.
Gotcha.
But what we're looking at is replacing the crossing at Center, at Pine, 3 at Barden, and then 1 at John Street, Railroad Street, and 1 at First Street and John Street.
Okay. And then we were going to go all the way down First Street, replacing driveway culverts and
Yes.
getting those leveled up so that street will drain better.
Yeah, so we've got several driveway culverts along First that we've proposed to regrade just to maximize how much fall we have across there, and then there's a ditch that connects Second Street and First Street that's included in the work to be cleaned out, widened, and graded so that it flows from Second to First.
So now, so now, are you saying that regardless of the timeline with the railroad, that those might be projects that we would do in the meantime?
Yes, sir. So really the main thing that the railroad has jurisdiction over is that core kind of section from John Street to Barden Street. So the pipes within their right of way. The work up John Street and along First, all of those are town roads that work could be performed much quicker. But because it was included initially as the entire concept, we've kept it included in the entire project. We haven't tried to piecemeal out.
And so now I've seen TRC on Second Street right much, and I actually live on Second Street, and so I see numerous markings. So what is?
Were they looking at the drainage infrastructure, or was it the water and sewer?
That I'm not sure.
We have a few different ongoing projects with y'all. It could be related to drainage, the stormwater asset inventory project. We included in that scope that there would be certain portions of town where we would collect driveway culvert information. We worked with Mr. King and Stacy to get everything, I guess our priority areas identified of where we knew we had flooding issues, especially related to driveway culverts. And so that included First and Second and that kind of portion of town. So you could have seen us working in there. We're also doing a water and a sewer asset inventory, so it could have been those guys. I'm not quite sure. But we have been in and around town quite a bit over the last couple months surveying. So.
I've seen your trucks almost every day. So.
Yeah. All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Look, we do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too. All right, next on our agenda is Chris Marion has a presentation to follow up from his public comments in November. Currently, the town of Princeton has does have two business grants. One is the facade grant in the amount of $1,000, and the other is the business incentive grant in the amount of $2,500. Both of these grants are funded through a money market that was established around 2018.
Michael, did you disseminate all that stuff I sent to you? You guys had all the slides and everything I sent? Say again?
Do we need to go to a TV or something?
Well, I sent them as a read ahead to put with everything.
Yeah, I got it. We can plug it in if you want without printing it all over
Well,
the packet.
They're in the packet.
if you have it in the packet, it's fine. There's not much to it, but there's a reason for that because the work isn't in the slides. It's in some of the stuff that I was pointing out here. The new business incentive that I generated. Yeah, we can. HDMI cable here. And I don't have HDMI on this one, so we'll have to go without. That's fine though. But it should be in the packets. And the slide just essentially covers the reason why for the new business incentive program that I put in there. And it's just a template. It's just an effort to invoke thought. Yes, the effort to invoke thought on a way to entice new business into the town, into the business district. We already have, like Mayor Johnson said, and Michael had sent me previously, there are 2 grants now that we have, but we could do more than that to entice new business into town. Some of the things that I saw and research that are being used in towns as close as Selma, and a lot of others, I have some examples in there as well, of North Carolina towns that are using them, and that's used all across the U.S. But it's just like reduction in permitting fees. There's tax incentives, or reduction in taxes. One of the most expensive things for new business to incur when coming to Princeton will be like the tap fees. I think our tap fees are around, about $5,000 or something like that.
Roughly, for the whole water, sewer, and everything, it's probably around 15. That's with permitting and everything.
Yeah, see,
out the door.
So, I mean, I think that's something, another tool in the kit bag you could create to generate a packet that kind of shows how much money a business could save if they wanted to try to do business here in Princeton. if they wanted to set up shop here in Princeton. I feel like we're on this wave of growth and development in the area, and if we're not forward thinking, we're going to miss this opportunity to bring in responsible growth in our town. Part of it would be a new business incentive program, something that would entice new businesses that want to come in and either develop something new or renovate an existing building that we have. And we have a number of empty buildings that aren't being used right now in town. I think I counted about 8 of them as of today that aren't being used or are being improperly used in accordance with the ordinances. And so I wanted to bring that to your attention as part of.
So when you say 8 buildings, you're saying there's 8 buildings that are not being used. In other words, they're empty, or either they are not being used as they should be.
Empty or not being used as they should be, according to the ordinances, town ordinances. Okay, there are a number of them. So I think, in part, having something that makes the town desirable to come in and do business, like an incentive packet, you know, where if they're looking at, I don't know, a smaller town just like us, something comparable, and they want to be in one of these small areas, they're going to look. I think that if you can save money setting up shop in one town as opposed to another, you might want to do that. And if you have a town that's inviting, they're promoting their town, they want to bring in that new business, and they have a plan that they can promote, I think that you're going to get more business that way than not having anything at all. The grants that we have now, I'm wondering, how do we promote them?
They're on our website.
But I mean, who's going there? You know, I mean, you can have it, and it could be money sitting. We should be using that money to either bring in new business by promoting. You put it in an entire packet. You know, those are just examples. You can use whatever you want on there, and then promote them. Because if you wait for it to come to you, you may miss the opportunity, and they may go somewhere else. A business may go somewhere else. So I just think that packaging it together might be more benefit than putting it on a website that doesn't get as much traffic as other places. So.
When you say other places, like what are you referring to?
Well, when you look at all the towns in the immediate area, and ones that have done this successfully, you know, this isn't something that I just conjured up. I went and talked to Chris Johnson from Smithfield, and he worked directly with the Activate Selma folks, and Selma in particular. They use a lot of outside of the box thinking to develop those areas, and it's continued to snowball and build growth since then. I mean, there's a reason why they're growing in that area. There's a reason. I mean, it was, if you remember, some years ago, it was empty. I mean, the whole town was empty. And then they opened up all those businesses. They offered incentives through the town to bring in new business. They had a goal, they had a vision, and I think that one in particular was they decided that they were going to be an antiquities and resale area market, and they focused on that. And so I just think that we should have that same drive, initiative, goal, and products that we can put forward outside of the community that shows that, hey, we're trying to bring new business in, and we want to have that responsible and robust growth in this area as well.
Now, in the downtown area, and I noticed that you do make the distinction that you were talking about downtown only, and not anything on the highway.
Well, we have a business district, and we have the areas along the highway, and we are not a destination town. We're not. We're along the route. And what's worse than that is we're just off the beaten path along the route. And if you want people to come here, you have to have a reason for it to be a destination. You have to have a reason. And if you don't focus on the things that make a destination town, it won't be that. You'll get growth, you'll get it along the highway, and then if it's allowed to grow and build along the highway, then your business district in the town is forgotten. I mean, it happens time and time again. But the responsible growth and the responsible developments and zoning and ordinances and incentive packets, they drive the right growth in the right areas. You know, example is when the new Cloverleaf goes in over by the off 70 behind the school, if all of that in that whole area becomes zoned commercial, then what it would be the necessity to come in and regenerate an area, redevelop an area, or bring business to an area off that path. You know, spoke with developers on the fact that, you know, it's sometimes a lot easier to build new than to renovate or to go into a town area. So that's why I put that together, is if we had something that to entice folks, maybe it would bring more business to the town. I mean,
if you look at Benson's plan here, we got two here. We got Benson and Selma. I spoke with Butch Lauder, Commissioner Lauder, today on the phone about this, and just asked him what Johnson County could contribute to Princeton. And you know, they're willing to talk about anything. Nothing residential. Residential growth's gonna happen. But as far as commercial, they'll talk to us about commercial growth and possibly help with some reduction of taxes, and you can see it in the Benson plan. Benson's got about 4 or 5 key points it's hitting there, and it's hitting a lot of these that he's referring to. And you know, it's trying to drive residential mixed use into the commercial district. So, you know, you go in, let's just say you have a building like Out of the Box, and they run a restaurant in the bottom, and then they put apartments up top. And what that does is that gets people living inside your community or inside your downtown area, and those people want places to eat that are close by. And then they start to get out on the streets, and they're walking their town, and people start staying open, businesses start staying open. So it's kind of it's a hard thing to get rolling, but you just got to put some incentives in there to see if you can start enticing some of these things to happen. I know for a fact we've got right many upstairs that are not being used, I'm pretty sure, in the downtown area. I don't know that all of them have, but I know the hardware store has an upstairs that's not used.
correct.
Out of the Box just remodeled theirs, and now it's for sale. I think it has a commercial space upstairs, and there's nothing wrong with commercial upstairs. It's a little harder to get to, but a lot of these original designs were set up with shops downstairs, and you live above it. And so Benson's plan does draw that in by offering some incentives. Now, they're not huge, but it's little things that help, and it's a lot of little things. And it offers things for rental, and it offers things for you know, even new builds. And then Benson's plan also offers the industrial side. If we bring a commercial plant here, and you just look at the effect that Mortex, because it was more Princeton Manufacturing before Mortex, that Princeton Manufacturing had on this town over the years. I mean, so many people that come by our office and want to see the inside because they used to work there. And you know, it's my grandmother worked there, my daughter worked there, or whatever, and we're hearing that all the time. And so that plant had a huge effect on this town, and for it to close also had a huge effect on this town. I mean, it was one of the only plants in the town, and you used to see these plants. You know, LaGrange has got them. Other areas have them. So, you know, if we could lure something in on the outskirts, then people start living here to work here and to play here. And so we need to bait a hook, I think, and drop it in the water, and it might be 20 years before we get something. But it doesn't hurt to bait the hook and drop it in the water.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason why, you know, I looked into this, and if you look at the examples, Benson's a good one. I think theirs was one of them had a simple sheet. It's a one-page facer.
That's Selma.
And that was at Selma's, and they had about 4 items, and they said, here's what we offer. And then if there's an opportunity to promote it, they will promote it. They'll send somebody out, and they'll go to an event, and they'll promote the town of Selma. It's promotion, and that has had a snowball effect in that town in particular. I mean, and they're growing by leaps and bounds. Developers want to be in the area, you know. It didn't just come to them. They went out and they drove that change. They drove that growth.
And they're controlling it.
Right.
They
Exactly.
have some control of it. So there's just certain areas they don't want certain things, and they have it mapped out to where they want what they want. And then that way you're controlling where it goes and the expansion of it. And to keep it in our town, we don't want people just to stop out there and eat at a Cracker Barrel and sleep in a hotel and then they're on their way. We want them to come into our town and invest in our downtown. And you know, it's kind of like going to the mountains. You go up there and you go into some of these little towns and you've got all these neat little shops for hiking equipment and candy and everything. And so it's kind of you know, what the kind of mindset we got to look at, kind of think out of the box here.
A holistic approach covers all of it. I mean, it covers an incentive plan to draw business. It covers robust ordinances to manage your townscapes and your facade and all of your businesses, you know, and enforcing those as well. Setting aside money from the town's budget to maybe have somebody that's going to be full-time ordinance officer as opposed to just part-time. We've got a lot of infractions that occur that are really just horrible. I mean, sometimes some people will come into town and I'm like, it's almost kind of, some of the things are an embarrassment. You know, an example is we had a building that was wide open to nature in the rain, a giant hole in the building, and it was there for 2 years in an active business. And it wasn't until recently that it was fixed. But we have a number of those. I think that we need to have a plan to bring in business. We need to have a plan to maintain a safe and aesthetically pleasing environment where businesses can thrive. And I think that we need to make sure that we stay on top of them and manage them throughout the process. And a part of that is having something that entices business. And the other parts are for another conversation, but definitely worth talking about.
So you mentioned 8 places that you say could be used, but is not being used. So how many locations have you found that other than those in the park next door that would be that could easily be converted?
Well, I mean, it depends on your definition of easy. For one, I can give you my personal experience with this. As owner of Bread and Bottle, we started our endeavor over 4 years ago. I tried every little building in town. I went to every property owner of a building that's either vacant or improperly used. I went to them all personally to try to put our business in those. We couldn't. They either wouldn't or they didn't care to. If it was an improper use, they didn't care that it was being improperly used, and they didn't want to change. They went with the easiest thing, which is I'm getting a couple $100 a month to store all this worthless wood in here now. Why do I want to put something else in? But it's all part of the aesthetics of the thing, you know. And from what I understand is that the town gets calls weekly, people asking and inquiring about these business or these buildings because they want to rent or they want to bring business here. This is what we spoke about previously, Michael. You'd mentioned you get calls weekly on it. I think in that regard, that's an enforcement thing that needs to occur. That's my opinion on it. I don't like beating around the bush. I'll be direct to it. I think we're small enough that nobody wants to touch that because everybody knows the people and they don't want to have the confrontation. You know, I mean, our town. But I think that's part of it. I think that we really aren't going out there and saying, hey, you really need to consider, before, we start looking at this collectively about opening these spaces up. Because you can't get businesses in if they won't open them up.
Well, now, and I am confident that it was this board that we did produce a document talking about some of these issues, and I do. And some of the conversations that you said tonight that I can remember when I met you at a meeting probably a year or so ago.
Yeah, the Siri.
Right. Yeah. But I know that one of the main sticking points then was how does the town force property owners to do something that they don't want to do?
I believe the ordinances have been rewritten to.
Yeah, our ordinances were rewritten last year.
Yeah.
To make it enforceable. It goes back to what you were just saying. Part of it right now is just due to the code enforcement. And me and Mr. King have actually talked about that in the last couple of weeks about several properties that need to be addressed. Don't know how quickly.
And I think a priority of efforts as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have somebody that's part-time, and I know that individual is actively doing their job because I've received a call from him. But the priority might be, like, have you ever heard of the broken windows, idea? You got to repair the broken windows. You got to make it look right, or people don't want to come. So you start with the big things. They may be hard. They may be tough pill to swallow. To talk to somebody about, hey, town's taking a new turn. We're not doing this, behind it, shed deals and all this other stuff, or I know him and he knows me type thing. But, we're going to stick with these ordinances. We're trying to clean it up, and it's a collective effort on everybody's part. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be tough, but I think it's not undoable. We aren't the first town to have these issues. And it's probably not going to go away. Somebody's going to pop up and do something, or something's going to happen, or whatever. But this constant churn needs to occur somewhere within the organization to make sure that we're focused in the right direction and we're keeping these things going and growing.
I thought we talked about it's been a couple meetings back about something similar to this, as far as like these different, and I think you just alluded to it, some of these businesses they have open spots and they're not doing anything with them, kind of like the mirror stores that just have stuff stored in the front. I thought we had addressed something along
We did.
that.
The ordinances did change to address
Yeah,
this.
so we did update the ordinances to that, and we have started trying to enforce those some. We have gotten some feedback from some of the owners that pretty much told us that we weren't going to tell them what to do with their property, and had some conversations with the attorney, and it's very sketchy area, so we're trying to approach it the right way, to where
As gingerly as possible.
to where it's just not blasted everywhere. I think one of the other concerns is if we get some of these vacant buildings cleaned up, the property owners also need to offer a reasonable rent. One thing I hear is some of the businesses that come in and rent can't afford the rent. It's just way too much. And therefore the business barely can make it, but the rent is just too much.
Yeah.
And therefore they
I've been hearing the same issues.
And they don't want to spend any money to fix these buildings up on the inside. I'll rent you the space, but you're going to remodel it all on the inside like you want, and then you're going to pay for the rent. And a startup business can't afford that. And when you're charging $2,500, $3,000 a month for rent downtown Princeton for a mom and pop store, that's pretty strong.
They got to turn a lot of money.
That's pretty
to make
strong.
that happen.
We just don't have the
So
walk traffic for
that would be a discussion, I think, that maybe the PCA could talk to the business owners that have some of these buildings. Hey, we want to help you, but also you gotta have some reasonable rental rates for these businesses that are coming in that can, operate and still afford to stay here.
Well, if you look on the slides that I provided, one of the things that we can do is it's a partnership between nonprofits like the PCA, the town, and then the local real estate companies where they can create a list of all the available properties for lease or sale in the town. And so collectively, if we have an opportunity, which there's one in January, which I highlighted in the slide as well that I provided, in January 18th, I believe, there's an event, and I have earmarked a space in there for us, but I don't think we should go without something, is what I'm saying. So somebody from the PCA goes as as an organization here to help promote the economic development growth in the town. Someone from the town goes, and maybe somebody from one of our local realtors who has these listings available. You have to find these places, these opportunities where you can promote this in order to drive the folks to want to come here.
The town, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I would think from my owner's perspective, if you have a building downtown, now let's say you're asking $2,000 a month for rent. But if you rent it out for 3 months and then people go bankrupt and leave, it sits for a year before you rent it out again. I would much rather have $1,000 a month for that building and it stay rented.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what
But
they're
you can't make
thinking.
people
And
do that.
we've had 2 businesses close down in the last month, that, from what
And I
they
was
told me,
told that one of these
rent.
was
It
almost
was
100% rent related.
Yeah.
That just go for it.
Well, I think another part of it as well is you in order to get the traffic to the town, you have to become a destination town. It doesn't occur. It doesn't just happen, and that is hard work, but it's the right work to do, and that is taking the grants that you have for the facades and not letting them sit on a website that nobody's going to. You need to call these businesses that. A perfect example is the barbershop in town, right? Nice guy, great business, service the town needs. He's always busy. He's doing really good. That building looks like crap. Is there $1,000 sitting in there that he can use right now? I bet there is. Does he know about it? I bet he doesn't. So if you had an ordinance officer, this is where they all overlap, who had time, worked here full time, he could spend, or she could spend a certain amount of time every day calling these people and say, hey, I noticed you need some help getting your new facade. Guess what? I got money for you. Things like that. Find people to take it rather than put it on a website. Then you get things are more desirable. If you have ordinances that that require specific facades, tones, palettes, textures, all that, and it's aesthetically pleasing, that's what draws people. You have to have a reason to be a destination town. And right now we don't have one. We currently don't have one. I think there's opportunities there, but
Well, and I think the opportunity is there, and I think that a lot of the opportunity is there with people that actually probably call Princeton home. That I'm not 100% sure whether the need is for us to try to get people from Smithfield or Clayton coming here, because whenever we look on our ETJ, and when we go a little bit further out into the country, that we got new homes right and left. So I think a lot of these people that they have, first of all, made a very huge investment, that they actually have a home close to Princeton, and so what is actually happening that they're going other places to get to do their eating, to do their shopping and whatever. And I think that if we work closer here, trying to get the right thing to come in and start, because it can change things real quickly. I mean, just like I know sometimes to go to the type restaurant that I want to go to, that I may drive 30 or 45 minutes, and the people do it all the time.
But if it was here,
Yeah.
you would be, you wouldn't
Right.
have to drive.
Well, I think that's part of a big part of our problem is, it's not just rent, but people just don't shop here. They'll get in their car and drive to Smithfield versus going right here.
Well, I think part of that is having a quality businesses, services in your area, but you have to make it appealing for them. There has to be a reason for it.
That's a issue both ways. You've got to have the right business here, but when you get here, the people got to shop here.
Mhm.
You can put all the business here that you want, but if people still drive to Goldsboro or Smithfield,
Right.
the
Well,
business is in trouble.
it's gonna still be a slow turnaround. It's not gonna be something that you snap your fingers and it happens.
Yep.
But if you look at Benson, they hit it in about 5 different ways. They have the downtown Benson New Business Startup Incentive Grant. They have the downtown Benson New Business Rental Assistant Grant. So they actually help pay for your rent. You have the downtown Benson Residential Incentive Grant, which is apartments or homes above businesses. Then you have the downtown Benson Marketing Assistant Grant, which helps with new signs, whatever it takes to help. They also have the facade grant that we already have, and the other grant, can't remember what it was, that we have. And then they go into the industrial, and then they drop that hook in the water for a big plant of some sort. And, and what I was saying earlier, talking to Butch Lauder today, he said you need to get something on the ground up there. You need to have something to offer. And he was very much
I
agreeing.
don't think it'll be a problem coming up with something. We just need to
Well,
have more time to come up with something that we can actually.
Well, that was a statement that was made, probably about a year and a half ago. I think once I first got on the board. And I've been watching it, and it has come to pass that the only thing the people wanted, so to speak, was for this to be a bed and breakfast. They come here, lay down, go to sleep, get them something to eat in the mornings, head out, go work, and then travel back in. I'm seriously, like you're saying, we need something here to keep people here.
Well, and that goes back to just what he was talking about, some of these buildings down here that have a commercial on the bottom.
That was in my last meeting.
Come on, brother.
We really do. We need something that's going to attract. I mean, because like we looked at a couple years ago, right across from where Highway 55 is, that open lot. They were talking about bringing a McDonald's. That didn't fall through. Tried to find out why. Like you said, it was because the owner of the land wanted so much money for it that it's like now we're pricing people out, and it's to a degree this is the last thought for them to come to. Now, I think that a lot of things we can just jump out financially and say we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We don't want to cut our nose off our face, but we want to be able to smell good, if that makes sense.
yeah, I don't think you need to acquiesce on everything on that list. It was just an example
Right.
of what I provided, that template. But those are upfront, no-cost things that you can do to put something out there to get it started. We just talked about a whole myriad of issues, right, with the town. Well, I'm here to talk about one. We addressed them all, or not all of them, a good portion of them, and we need to start somewhere. So I think the left foot forward on this, because it doesn't cost anything up front to do some of those. I mean, and I know there's ways around, you know, you can make probably half of the things on that list work. And then have put together, you know, that promotional thing, and then find places and ways to promote it. It'll be a start. I mean, it's better than, you know, to be honest with you, my business definitely partly hinges on what happens in this community and the town and the people that are responsible for it. You know, if it gets run down and nobody comes in to rent, purchase, or buy, or update it, or it's all misused, then it's just not an appealing environment for the people that I want to bring in. You know, and to date, I could be wrong, but I think I'm probably the largest investor of a business in the town in many years, and I brought more jobs than any business here in a number of years. I've got about 20 employees. So, and I've invested a significant amount of money in the hopes that we could do this together and grow it. I mean, it's small enough, the town's small enough that it's manageable. It's a lot of dirty work, but it's manageable. It's hard work, but I think we can do it.
And I think another drawing card, like you were saying, like with Benson, just throwing the things out, and we just using that hypothetically as an example. Benson, one of Benson's biggest drawing cards is meal days.
Yeah.
We do not have a drawing card. Just to, you know, kind of get people to come through and just kind of see what we're having. Kind of like Selma was doing, you know, having once a month or I can't remember exactly how they were doing it, where they would have some form of a singing downtown where it brought people out, brought the community together. I think we did it a couple times. I six in one hand, half a dozen in another, but it's got to be consistent, and we've got to be able to do something that brings people through, to make them come through and say, oh, okay, so they have a building here. You know, let's look at this. Let's see what we can do to get in. But one of the biggest things is making sure, as you say, the looks are appeasable, and the rent, right? You know, they're able to afford it. Because my wife and I, we've looked at 2 or 3 different locations here in town. But when I started talking to people about rent and what they want, and then I actually started talking to them about buying a building, I was like, man, this is just astronomical. It's crazy.
I added up what Benson had in incentives that the part we would use, and it's $15,500 annually. That don't mean all that money would get spent. They're allotting like 3 businesses are eligible. So you set a number, or you set an amount. Total budget $2,500. It tells you the total amount. Some of it's matching grants up to, but it's reinvesting back into the town. And I really think we need to look at some of these programs, and rental assistance might be one big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if the business that you're talking about had some rental assistance, they might could have made it longer and held out, through the storm. The thing is, how long can that go on, and how often, would we be willing to do that? And that's where we would have to make some decisions here. But you don't want to, you can't keep somebody afloat but for so long,
right,
on somebody else's dime.
Now, let me say this too, and that we're talking about grants, and let's look at the town of Princeton. Almost everything that we do is off grant. So just about everything that we do that is dependent on someone providing us the way to move from point A to point B. whenever you totally depend on someone else to fund you, and suddenly you're just gonna pick up and say, well, we're gonna start funding people too. Is that really something that can happen?
I think it would be a living document. It changes based on what grants are available, if that's the way you can draw. Some of the items on the list, though, aren't just grants, though.
This would be things that we would probably fund ourselves out of taxes or whatever. Obviously, wouldn't raise taxes to fund this, but see if we could find the money to do it. And if, $15,500 is what Benson had, but I mean, just like the commercial manufacturing facility here, it costs us nothing until it's here. And it reads right in the resolution, a new manufacturing facility construction projects that will create 60 jobs or more with a capital investment of $80 million on more or real property within the town of Benson corporate limits as follows. So if that shows up, then they're given a 50% property tax reduction. And the county is willing to work with us on that. So, if we can get, but that would be brought to the board on a case-by-case basis. But if you had something to lay out there like this, say, hey, this is possible, a document and say, hey, come talk to us. Let's see what we can do for you. And then and you might have 2 or 3 slip off the hook to start with, but and it might take 20 years, and we might not ever get anything. But
Well, and there again, there's things that can be addressed, like the fees, tap fees and stuff. You look at reducing those, if you come 50% for a business to come in from $15,000 down to $7,500, that's really not coming anything out of our pocket. It's not putting anything into our pocket, but it's not really taking it out. So, there's incentives.
It actually is taking it out of your pocket.
Mhm.
Well, you can.
Because just a few months ago, that we went up on taxes, we went up on water and sewer, and so do not even think that if the citizens here, wait a minute, y'all are talking about doing what? Could you just raise our stuff just a few months ago?
Well, now, you gotta keep in mind, now, this isn't something that's gonna be implemented in the next 6 months.
Right.
This thing could take several years to get it ironed out and get everything in place.
More businesses that come, the lower your tax rate will be. You can
Right.
reduce.
Right.
So you're gonna have to meet in the middle somewhere.
you got to invest to get something out of it. When we go in to do a project, we invest in that project, and then we get something out of it.
And Walter,
And then-
what you were saying a while ago about, working off of grants, that's what we're trying to quit doing. That's one reason we did look at raising some of the rates, is because a town can't function on grants forever. Eventually you'll go broke. It's no different than if you try to run your household on borrowing money all the time. Well, eventually you're done. And this town's no different. We've got to figure out how to start making a profit in this town to keep it functioning and be able to make any improvements in it. And getting business in here is gonna help. Getting business in here that hire people that can live here. People would a whole lot rather be able to go and get in their car and drive 2 minutes into town to be able to work than have to drive all the way to Smithfield or all the way to Goldsboro when they could work right here.
Or RTP.
Yeah. So, I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's gonna happen overnight, but I think it's something we definitely need to start working towards having something.
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's nothing that we have to set in stone tonight, but,
Oh, no.
I would love for us to, have some further conversation on it, later time, later date. But I do agree, I think that this is something that we really need to take a serious look at.
Would this be something that we could Because I don't want it to get off the table, and I'm fine
Yes.
with putting it up, but is it something where we could take a piece of it each meeting and maybe try to devour it every 4 weeks, absorb a piece, and look at it, and then vote yea or nay?
I think
I think so.
probably what we need to do is let Mike look at some of the things on here, some of the ideas, and then look at what we're doing with the town now, so far as like the tap fees or whatever, and come up and say, well, 25%, whatever, and come up with something for us to look at each month. Because if not, I mean, if you come up with an idea, I come up with an idea, he comes up and you come up with it, we're gonna sit here and just running around in a circle.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not.
Me and Chris met, it was probably 30, 60 days ago or so, but we had talked about a couple options, and that was one of them. So I can regroup with Chris in the next week or two, and we'll try to maybe put a small package together, and something that he thinks is fair from the business side, something that we think's fair from the town side, and then kind of present something.
Could I, you probably need to reach out to Chris Johnson too.
Yeah, we can.
Butch brought his name up today, and that was very good. I think he could add a lot to it because he knows what the other towns, and he's gonna be the person who brings you a business. You know, if somebody's looking, so he needs to know that we want it.
Mhm.
He needs to know that we're out trying to recruit, and then what does he need to sell it?
Yeah.
So if we could get that information from him, a little guidance from him, and then with your side of it, and just try to finagle some type of incentives. I mean, Selma has got 3 incentives, and they've got a list of the businesses they want to attract in the tier 2. Restaurant, pharmacy, dry cleaner, bakery, pastry shop, butcher, pet store, family physician, pet store supply, local hardware store, and community TV tech repair shop. That's what they're trying to recruit as of 2024.
That's very specific. I mean, that's the
That's
kind of thing
right.
that you need, that drives the appropriate growth. And, you know,
And then they've got incentives from tier 1 to tier 3, and that's basically going from the industrial down to the, you know, to your business in town, downtown. And you've got your downtown outlined as to where it is, and Benson went even to identify it as, you know, tier 1, 2, and 3. I don't have a Selma map, but I'm sure theirs is the same way. They've got certain places they're pinpointing what they want. And so they go out there and offer this by notifying Chris Johnson of it. He's listening to all these people who are coming in. Oh man, I got a great place for you. And that we had a business contact us a couple months ago about moving out into the ETJ out near your place. It's the old concrete place out there, and I actually saw the gentleman tonight at the Christmas tree lighting in town, and you know he said they were still looking, but. And, you know, if you have something you can offer people, and
I think that in my opinion, those larger examples like the mill down there would be something that you don't want to miss that opportunity. I mean, you know, it's probably some significant jobs that are being, you know, going to get received from that. If there's utilities that are provided, you know, whatever revenue is drawn from your utilities, you know, that as well. So I think you have to be agile and quick and know what you can give.
what I can lay.
Yeah, when those happen.
Well, if we can take a piece of this and start running through it, and the question is, how do y'all want him to proceed? And he can proceed in that way, and maybe y'all pick a piece and bring it back, but let's start looking at what we can start laying out there, and then what can we afford is the other. But we can bring it to the board. You know, it don't have to be but $1,000 allotted. We can go for 1 applicant a year right now, and we can try to go to 2 next year, or do $500 and do 2 applicants. I don't think Benson's gets used every year because it's pinpoint. You know, you're only picking out certain people. It's got to fit all the boxes have to line up. So.
And just to piggyback, since you're talking about downtown grants and stuff, I had in my comments, but we did get awarded the Duke Energy Downtown Business Incentive Grant, and that is through the Triangle East Chamber. It's $15,000, but all applications will be submitted to the chamber for review, and they will award those funds to any downtown business.
To a max of, what's the maximum amount?
Well, I think it's $1,000 per business, and we had a discussion, it may be amended, because I don't think we really have 15 businesses downtown to apply. So they may amend it and do a couple more higher allocations, and then reduce the other ones. But it's 15,000, and that is posted online, and it was emailed to the PCA, I think last week or so. I sent it out.
And that's where I think, you know, the opportunity like that is where the ordinance guy can do an overlap on that private property space where you say, hey, you know, this is looking a little rough, and you know, we got this money sitting here. Let's help you get this cleaned up, because his or her business looking nice only helps everyone else.
Yep.
You know,
And this money that we got from Duke Energy has to be spent by August 31st. So we need to really hit some businesses up to apply for.
So we need to really
So
get
that's
started.
for 2025.
Yeah, we got about 9 months to get it. The application's posted, which is not our fault. It's kind of it was held up because we were trying to get a check presentation from Duke Energy and couldn't get scheduled with them. So each chamber just said, forget it, we'll post it. Here it is, advertise it, and I think we've had it up online maybe a week or so. But I did send it to all the PCA and told Romay and told her to make sure she shared it, because we need people to apply. It's either we use it or we lose it.
Is this something where do you think we could get Brad out to go through town?
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah, we can get cheaper
pretty
doing
soon?
too.
And what's the stipulations on it being used for?
It's on the website, but it's more like a facade outside, any inside improvements, signage, anything like that.
We'd definitely rather
It's
use
for
their money than our.
new businesses or old existing businesses. But they've got a guideline and everything. But like I said, it is on our website, and I think I put it in my, I put a piece of it in your TA comments tonight up there. Should have it in there. That was separate that I threw out to you guys. But
Yeah, we definitely need to
but
push
yeah,
that hard.
it's in the handout I give you guys.
Do you think we could go ahead and get Brad out and about here in the next week or two and
Yeah,
see
well,
if we can sell it?
we could probably just print the application and everything in the little brief press release and just go door to door and just hand it to the business owners or managers and.
Well, if you had somebody like Brad who could walk up and assess the situation, like Chris was saying, and say, okay, hey, you can use it for this, you can
Yeah.
use it for a new sign or a new facade, or we can paint the front of your building.
Yeah, and the chamber is kind of relying on, because I'm one of the board members there, they're kind of relying on me as who needs the assistance and what are the businesses, because they're not really that familiar with Princeton. And so I need a list to get back to them quick.
Yeah, we knew we had 8 businesses that are interested.
And it's an easy
and it's
application.
15,000.
Yeah,
Then
I
it
mean,
might
it's an
be-
easy application. I just need to get them back. Probably.
And it's not a match.
This is not a match. It's free. Every bit of it is free. Yeah, no
I
match.
don't see that money spent downtown.
Yeah.
For sure. Apologize for taking up so much time tonight. I just want to say one more thing, is I think this is, again, I just want to reiterate, this is just one piece of a 3-part thing that I think the town, that we collectively need to focus on, you know, and that's being, you know, some type of a business growth model. We're looking at our facades ordinances, specific, and then enforcing ordinances for the buildings that we have. We don't have many buildings, so, you know, they need to be open, and that's just my opinion, and it'll make a difference, because we need the cross-pollination of other businesses in town for the ones that are here to thrive. Okay?
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the annexation request for parcels 04012027D and 04012027. I'm gonna hand that over to April.
I received 2 petitions for annexation. Put the information in your packet. I just need the resolution adopted, directing the clerk to investigate, and the results will be back in January, and the public hearing for annexation would be in February.
Mr. Mayor, I'll give you a motion that we have the clerk do the investigation, on these, 2 tracts of property. Parcel 04012027E and parcel 04012027D.
A second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 3-0.
And I need to take a,
And we're going to take a
think you must be in the 0402.
You sign mine and mine. So we're over here whispering.
I'm reading lips.
That's why I got my hand over, because I can read lips, so I.
You got small kids, ready to go home.
Yeah, but I got a good husband.
You won't be able to tell them good night.
That's a crew over there, ain't it? I did, the boys wanted, I can get you a barbecue, so I ran that.
Yeah, you gotta crawl under the table, sweetheart.
I did. We need a barbecue joint.
You put me on from
Never been in a board meeting that you had to stop somebody's opinion, babe.
Tell them get a cake.
Oh, really? Yeah, not for me.
What we talking about?
Anything that wants to the county.
Oh,
There wouldn't be anything that anybody come back and say that.
They keep it at 6 o'clock.
And he said, no, you good.
6 o'clock.
I told two. While they were Ordinary one in the
Trouble.
And so, when I come back in this morning, the thing was sitting on the chair.
We're still waiting on that.
Where you been, Duck Nut?
No, I was out there at the Christmas tree line and spending time with
Christmas
baby.
tree
Next meeting,
Yeah.
don't be right
Yeah, I
down
won't
there.
even,
No, it was in front of my
Don't
house.
forget to get them while the getting's good.
Yeah, it won't even like a, yeah, it won't like how it
I'll
normally
be
is.
quiet.
Would you rather see him?
Is the tree here?
Yeah,
There's a tree,
because you
but it won't so much like,
were,
you know,
because you be
normally
trying to
it's
grab
like
my
a thing.
paper.
We just need to vote to get a bigger board.
Down here?
I mean, a bigger deal.
What happened to the tree?
Where my homes go.
What happened to the tree?
Huh?
What happened to the tree?
Tree.
Don't get me started.
What were you talking about, tree?
Yeah, I mean,
We'll talk about it all.
yeah, okay.
All right. Call the meeting back to order. It is 8:30. We're going to talk about the allocation of funds. On October 7th, 2024, TRC presented the Capital Improvement Plan project at a cost of $7,500. The board voted to pull these funds from the state allocation from Representative Larry Strickland in the amount of $315,000. This is allowed, however, after discussion with the board and Representative Strickland, it is recommended that the board rescind that vote, reallocate the $7,500 back to the $315,000. This $315,000 will all go towards the new community building. In doing so, I recommend that we pull the $7,500 from, for the capital improvement plan, from the sale of the vacant lot. Currently, we have an offer of $49,780, in which we do need to approve tonight, and because it was finished up as of yesterday. Is the board okay with reallocating the $7,500 back to the $315 allocation?
I am.
Okay, so I have a motion, and I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 3-0. All right. With that, our bid was with Sell Lot currently sold for $49,780. We got to take realtor fees from that and some closing costs, and that would put us somewhere around what
46,891.
Yeah, $46,891, and then we got to take the $7,500 from that. So basically, $39,000 and some change we have left. The town hall is in need of a new roof, and we have received 3 quotes on that roof, and would like to get a motion tonight to go ahead and do this replacement.
With that, I'll make a comment.
We need to go ahead and, first you need to accept the bid.
Okay.
We need to do that first for the money,
All right. Well,
and then allocate the money. And that was $49,780.
all right. So the buyer was Next Chapter Construction for 414 South Center Street, in the amount of $49,780, and they're putting down $2,489 of due diligence, which I believe Ms. Hines has a check for. Settlement date is within 14 days of the acceptance of this bid, so this should be closed
12/12.
before Christmas. Yeah,
Yeah,
before Christmas, and we already got a time set up with Bob.
12/12 at 3.
Okay. We actually closed with their attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what we'd like to do is get a motion to accept this bid, and,
I'll make a motion that we accept.
Second. So I have a first and a second, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Motion passes 3-0. So the bid has been accepted. Now, going back to the roof quotes.
One more thing on that. I need a motion for me to sign on behalf of the town for the closing.
All right.
That I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion, and I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 3-0. All right, now back to the roof quotes. We have 3 roof quotes in front of you, and would like to know what kind of questions this discuss.
I've looked through all 3 of the quotes. At this point, I do not recommend going with the lowest one. And with some explanation, I'll try to let you know why. A lot of it's due to the warranty. If you look at the one from Robco, on item 11, it says limited workmanship warranty. Gives you no time frame. You don't know if it's 1 year, 10 years, could be 3 months.
CLC car program.
When you go to the one for Clifton Lane Incorporated, item number 8, it shows a Certainty Landmark shingle. Well, when you look at that, if you go to the website and look at it, that shingle, typically the residential carries a 30-year warranty. Problem is, this is not a residential building, it's commercial. That warranty is only 10 years. And they only carry they do carry a 10-year workmanship warranty on Clifton Lane. But only a 10-year warranty on the shingles. If you go to Pro Roofing, his standard warranty is a 1-year workmanship. The shingles have a 30-year warranty. But for $638 added to his bid, you can have a 25-year workmanship warranty and a 50-year shingle warranty. So it's a little more than the other 2, but your warranty is significantly better.
Now, on the Pro Roofing bid, are you showing that as $19,700?
I do not have that one. The one I have is $20,880.
Yeah, that's what I have.
All right, so what happened is, in talking to all 3 of them, getting them apples to apples, went back and asked all of them to quote the same shingle, which was the shingle that I felt was the best in discussion with the manufacturers, was the GAF Timberline HDZ architectural shingle. And so all three of them come back with the quote. Robco held his quote at $18,820. Pro Roofing went down to $19,700, but they did take off replacing all of the drip edge that goes around the perimeter. Now, obviously, if we needed some drip edge, he said there should be nothing wrong with it, but if we did need some drip edge, then we would just have to add that, add something back in for that. But it dropped $1,100 to do the whole building.
So that's all I was looking at. When you look at the quotes, just don't take them at face value, because you got to look at the long run. I mean, look how long this building's been here, and the roof is all pieces on it. With this one, you got a 50-year shingle warranty.
So the Pro Roofing is the one that's about midway.
Yes.
He's the one that did the YouTube video I sent out, and he walked about 2 hours worth of footage for us, showing us holes and divots and tears and all. We sent that out. It's been a month or so ago, but he did a YouTube video that was shared for everybody to look at how bad the roof looked.
And I asked you to come up and document it for us, and so he did. He's been very generous to do that.
So this building is about 20 years old?
Something like that, yeah.
Don't seem that old.
It is. And the shingles are in terrible shape.
Yeah, you can walk the building and see the roof leaks and the tiles.
Because it was after Fran.
Frank's in what, 97, 98?
96, 97, yeah.
Yeah, and we probably went another 2 or 3 years, so probably 2000.
When I came here in 2002, this was still downtown. They only stayed there probably about another year or two after that, so
It's about 20 years old.
it's about 20 years old.
And that's all I'm saying. If you can look at, for another $1,000, $1,500, your warranty's double or triple what anything else is.
But now, Mr. Mayor, you were saying that you had all the companies to quote using the same.
Yes, do you have that sample, Michael?
The sample shingle?
Yeah, the GAF Timberline.
You can get it off that table in there.
Man, you might well save that trip there.
Well, let's let you see it.
Everybody's
But
looking.
yes, I had it requoted. Robco's price stayed the same at $18,820. They had quoted which one did they quote? IKO. No, they had quoted the IKO shingles. And then Pro Roofing basically stayed the same at 20. Just set that one down. Just set one. Set the one up that we're talking about. Pro Roofing dropped their price of $1,100, but that was because they took the drip edge off. It was the HDZ that they had quoted, the GAF HDZ. So this would be the shingle. And this is a slightly, I think, a better quality shingle than the others. And then Clifton Lane, their price went up to $20,900, so it went up $400 to do that shingle.
I would say let's stay mid-range.
If we do the mid-range, we do go with Pro Roofing, just keep in mind that to get this warranty, you've got to spend $638 to go with what the GAF Golden Pledge warranty. That takes the shingle warranty up to 50 years.
So it's 18, who's it was 18 what?
It's 19.
Now 700, something like that.
It's $19,700 plus $638. right, 638. 638. So $20,338.
Before you asked them that, they were already at 2880.
That's what they were before they took out the drip edge.
To me, that's a no-brainer. Let's still stay with where we are. I mean, because it actually went down a couple $100.
Okay.
That would be my motion, that we will go with Pro Roofing.
All right, so I have a motion to go with Pro Roofing for $19,700 plus the $638 extended warranty, which brings us to $20,338. Do it. I have a second. Remember, we're gonna take these funds out of the lot. That's what we're.
Correct. Money's still money. It's our money.
Yes, sir. But we gotta protect our investment. We got paint filling in the men's bathroom, we've got, ceiling tiles all leaking, and we got holes in our roof. And we're entering the rainy season, so I don't know how quick they can get on it, but,
You got any other question? I'll second.
all right, so I have a first and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 3-0. I have one other
We
thing.
got one thing, sorry to cut you off, we got one thing that we did miss on the agenda to adopt the 25 calendar.
See, don't mind you.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, somebody redid the agenda and it accidentally got left off.
I wonder who that.
Let's see if it's over here. Yes.
Hershey's milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to that next, if that's okay.
Yeah.
One other thing that town is in need of is a set of batteries for its directional sign, or information sign, I guess is what you call it. It's the one that's sitting down by a food line. The batteries are cracked and they're just wore out and in need of a replacement. We have priced them, but concerns of the budget and needing the sign, you know, we're in the holidays and that's when we use them a lot. These are a PD and utility shared venture, I believe.
Yeah.
Have-in. And we priced those batteries at $4,109.88.
Per baby, can you get
No,
the
for all of it. I don't know, it takes 12. 12 of the batteries are.
off of them?
Can you get what?
Give me the model numbers off those batteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get that tomorrow.
I can
So I
get
can
you.
price them.
Okay. Can we get a motion, and this if the board wants to do it, to take it out of the lot money to replace these batteries to get our sign back up and running, and we can adjust the price after, if yours is cheaper, we got
I may not
to.
can do any better, but I have a place I buy batteries, so I'm thinking a really good price on them.
I believe there was another place, I think Commissioner Rose told me about golf cart batteries.
Yeah, they're golf cart batteries. A local guy, Kevin Donovan.
Kevin Donovan, that was his name.
Is that what they are? They're at golf cart batteries?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a picture of it in your, I might print this and put it in my book, so I would have it, but it's just actual golf cart battery.
Pretty expensive anyway.
The question is, would the board be in agreement, and if there's another place that you would like to take this from, that's fine, but was just looking to get it, get this issue taken care of so we have this sign back up and running. We've had 2 events that we didn't have it for.
Is that,
We could really
is that
do
actual message board, or is that speed? That's the message board, isn't it?
Yes, that's the message board. We have two of them, one's been set at this end of town and one on the food line end of town. The one on the food line end of town is the one that is dead.
Cause this one down here seems to be getting dim too, so.
Very well could be, but it's been running a while, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's been running a while.
But it's solar
Yeah,
generated.
it should be solar powered up.
Okay. And then do y'all have to take it back and charge it to bring it back up?
No.
Or the solar power takes care of it all?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So is by chance this one down here solar powered as well?
It is, but
It's solar, it just charges the batteries, but once the batteries have expired, I mean, it won't do any good. It's either we either have to spend money fixing it or the sign's useless.
And I've looked at the sign looks like it's in good shape. I mean, the expensive part of it's the batteries. It's probably worth 10 grand and 5 of it's batteries. It's like a golf cart.
I guess the biggest question is where do we pull the money?
And we would have how much left over from the other?
We'll have roughly about $18,000. My math is,
And this is the sign closest to, food line.
it is.
Right there at the graveyard.
Yes, at the great one.
Okay, I thought that was just a, speed measurement.
You talking about the one at Boone Hill?
Yeah.
That's a speed limit. We got two informational signs, so.
When you go into, food line, it sits right.
Yeah, on the, food line side.
Right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, got that. All right.
And you were proposing that we pull it from where, Mr. Mayor?
Well, I was looking at this lot sale. If we don't have the funds, we have roughly $19,000 left over.
So now, let me ask this. So if we were going to pull it from a fund, which fund would we, pull it from? Because it's basically, that would, what, fall under?
Police department.
No,
Advertise on them signs, sir.
It would be determined probably late June where it would come from, because it's not a priority right now, I would say. So I would say the funds will be pulled late June, and we would see where we're at.
Does PD use the sign on?
No, sir. Not one time since I've been here.
So you haven't needed it?
No, sir.
well, now, if the funds were, whichever account that it would come from, that I would hope that we pull it from that account, and all that. And that would be the place that the funds came from.
And I have no problem with that because that lets you know what you've spent in that particular
Right,
account.
that's kind of where I would like to see it come from. Wherever the maintenance is for those signs, whoever's responsible for them.
Do
So
we
you-
know?
So you would need to allocate the remaining revenue of the lot sale to the maintenance budget. And then
Well, that
vote
could be
on that.
done, or we could try to see where we're at the end of the year and ease the money into the account then.
I would say allocate to the maintenance side, and then you can do a budget amendment later. You need to move some of it to somewhere else. I mean, that's the quick and simple thing to do.
But
The
if
main
we-
thing is just allocate it from the sale of the vacant lot. I mean, we're at almost 50,000 now, and, you know, we're still netting, what, 19?
It's gonna be about 19,000
Yeah.
after we replace the roof,
So
do the capital improvement plan.
Yeah.
if we didn't have the sale of this lot, what would that be? The maintenance
It
would
would
that
just
be
be out
allocated to?
of routine maintenance, and it depends on how much budget's left, how much has been spent with public utilities and admin.
We don't have the signs listed as an individual item on the budget, do we?
You know, they're just under routine maintenance.
So do we know if we, if we allocated in any money in this budget, for those signs?
Probably no.
I know we didn't.
Mm-mm. We got maintenance budget, but we didn't specifically budget $4,000 for batteries.
Yeah.
Because the batteries just went out, what, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something. I mean,
Well, they just went out 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
Right
a couple
before
weeks ago.
Chili cook-off, they went dead.
Yeah,
I think,
so-
before that.
but I would say we just pull it out of the vacant lot sale for now and then see what's left. And if we need to move some to something else, we can do that later.
Would the board be an objection to pulling it out of the proper account and just knowing that we need to hang on to a little money on the lot if we need to?
That's what I would prefer to do.
Yeah.
Pull it out of the maintenance account, and then at the end of the year, the budget, if we see that we're running over, then we can pull it out. But
Yeah.
I'd rather have it come out of the right
Yeah.
account.
Because like I say, I don't want to pull out of what extra we have. That, to a degree, that's our safety net. But if we already have something where we would probably pull from it, it may not, like you said, we didn't allocate any money in the budget for it. But if it's should come out of routine maintenance, then I think I'll feel better with it coming out of that.
I'd rather
And
have
then
it flagged and know where it comes
Yeah.
from, have it detailed as to what the description is and what it was for, so we don't forget it.
Yeah.
And then that way we can
And
correct it
then
at the end of the year if we need to.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, then if we have to add a line item at the end of the year that, for signs, we allocate so much money for that.
Plus, we need to know for future, for the future budgets, that, what it's taking to keep the town running, so that's why.
Yeah, so I can pretty much assure you, both of those signs are the same age, so
And what's the
Probably not gonna be
likelihood?
far off of
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the likelihood in both?
I would say I don't know how long a golf cart lasts, but I'd say every 4 to 5 years, you're gonna probably have to replace it. So that's when they had them burned off.
I think that's when they had them working on last, about 4 to 5 years ago.
Both of them?
They took 3 up there and 2 come back working, 1 did not.
I would say when you take the batteries out, we probably need to go get them checked somewhere and make sure that they all are bad. Because I don't know how it works with a golf cart, if they all go bad at the same time, but if they're cracked or opened or whatever, they're bad, but if they're just depleted, make sure the battery's bad. And then, is there a core charge, and do we get that core charge back? So,
no, there'll be a core charge, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
we'll make sure that here, I don't know if that's priced with a core or without a core, so. All right, so what we're gonna do is move forward. Do we need a motion for this at all? We've discussed it, but
Yeah.
Just need a motion to pull the money from the vacant lot.
No,
Well, no, we
Pulling it
don't
from
do
maintenance.
Yeah, from maintenance.
flagging it.
Or to put the money in from the
If we
vacant
need
lot
to
to
put the
maintenance.
money
If
out
you're
of
not
the
gonna pull it
lot,
from the vacant lot, we don't.
Yeah, if you're not
we
pulling
don't
from the
use it,
vacant
we
lot,
don't
we
have
need
to.
nothing, we're good, we're
it's
just
coming
move
out of
on.
maintenance.
you're gonna go ahead and buy them. You're gonna check your price.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and buy them from the cheapest place, make sure we turn in the cores, make sure we check the old batteries. If the core goes in, of course, I guess if you gotta turn it in, it's dead anyway, so you turn it in, you get the new ones, and then we'll have to sign back up and run. And they'll be marked, so we'll know the date on them. And then we just need to know that we got another one down there that's gonna come at us here before too long.
And let me be clear on this. So now, that the money from the house is going where?
From the lot?
Yes.
Nowhere.
That'll be miscellaneous revenue, the lot sale.
Yeah. That's the safety. net.
Okay, all right, okay.
We should have approximately $19,000 that we haven't spent,
Yeah.
that we'll bring in. And we'll have that, and then, like you said, that'll be miscellaneous revenue unless we have another emergency pop up.
Right. Because like I said, I'd rather have a safety net than not have one at all. Or have it almost depleted that, we can't even stand on that leg.
Okay. So I think that discussion's over, so we will move on to the approval of the agenda, calendar, for the board meeting, budget meetings, holidays, and planning retreat for 2025. everything on schedule?
Mr. Mayor, if there's no question or concern, after I looked over it, I was pretty good with it, so I'll offer you a motion that we accept it.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Yes.
All right, I have a first and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 3-0. All right. Next on the discussion for tonight, or next on the agenda, is a discussion about the commissioner vacant seat. So we talked to Bob Spence, and we have a selection process for the vacant commissioner seat. Option 1 is a motion method, and that's as simple as a council member moving to appoint a certain person, and it getting a second and approval. Or option 2, which is a application method, and basically go through ever how long the board decides, receive applications, and then interview, certain advertisement period, and then we have a vote.
So we appoint, they will, and that I know, I've only seen one name to come across, but if we were to appoint, they would finish out Commissioner Rose's term.
Correct.
That'll be what, for 3 years?
Correct.
And then if we go through the other process, it would be
Till the election of 25 for 6 months.
the only, I really don't know which way to go with this. But looking at, if we do the motion and whoever we put in that place goes that 3 years, then when election time comes up next year, we don't have to worry about the 2 seats being open. Because then, say for example, we both get voted out, you'll still have Commissioner Martin and then whoever we elect, instead of having 3 just new seats and nobody not really knowing what's what. If we do the other process, and that's why I say I'm kind of got mixed feelings. But if we do the other application process, then we run that risk of having, possibly 3 people being voted on and possibly getting 3 new people. So,
You actually have the possibility of 4, because the mayor's up for re-election at the same time.
yeah.
So you could have
We could
3
have a whole-
commissioner seats
yeah.
and a mayor all being elected at one time.
That could be a-
The application method, I have been on the board for 24 years, and we have likely replaced probably in the 7 or 8 commissioners for one reason or another. And most of the time being that they moved outside of the city limits. And all of the replacements were through advertising. I think that advertising is the way to go, that it gives you a slew of people who are interested, and it opens up versus basically 3 people making making the selection?
Well, I will say this, and both times that I have been before the board, first time that I came through, well, we know how that kind of, both times we know how that kind of went. But the first time, that was just myself and one other person there. I didn't see it, and you know, no pun intended, I didn't see a slew of people. The second time that it came open, it was myself and one other person. I didn't see a whole lot of people that wanted to do this. Simply because a lot of people really don't want to be out here those long hours away from their family. You know, you have those ones that say, hey, I'll do it because this is something I want to see. I want to see the town move forward. So you may have 1, 2 that will come in and say, hey, I'll give it a try. But this has been, from the understanding I've gotten, this has been the talk of the town for last couple of weeks. And so, I mean, that I know of, like I said, I've only seen one email with one name. So I haven't seen a slew of people that said that.
But now, we have not advertised anything yet.
We didn't, the last time that, this time before I got elected, they hadn't advertised it before. I heard about it. But then when I heard about it, I got, somebody's asked me to, you know, be on the lookout, see if I knew anybody. I already knew about it. Because like I said, it talks through the town. So I mean, if we literally say, well, we're gonna do an application, we can do an application, that's gonna prolong it. But then, like I say, we run into that situation of possibly 3, maybe 4 seats being opened on election time.
And it's my understanding that the person that would take his seat would have to run in the next election.
If we're
Not the one at the end of his term.
if we
That's
appoint,
if we go through the application process, they would have to run in 25. The same time, 2 other seats are available. So that would make 3 commissioner seats available at one time, which is not the way our stuff is designed. We're supposed to have 2 seats available at each municipal election, not 3. If we do the application process, that changes it, because then you'll have 3 up for the same seats instead of 2. And the mayor. So you could potentially have 4 seats change at one time with just one person. It would be you, Mr. Mark, that would be here, that would be the only one that would know what's been going on in town. Everybody else would be like that. And that's not a good scenario.
Well, and that's, everybody will be, it will be that way if all three of the commissioners lost, which is not very likely. Both Commissioner Rose and I, that we ran unopposed. Most of, I actually think that I may have been challenged twice out of 6 goes.
but it goes back to what I said. A lot of people don't want to spend that time away from their family. They don't want to come in here and stay the long hours. They don't want to make that decision that do we increase taxes or not.
But just like, was it the last election? Oh, no, not the election before, there were several candidates on board.
Yeah. There was 4 around that time.
Yeah, I mean, so,
But it was 4, but 1 actually dropped out due to family reasons. I think, had new additions to the family, so forth and so on. So you can understand that. But out of the 2 seats, there was still 3 people that ran for it.
Well,
So you really
one of
can't
the
count
other
that 4.
issues that comes up with this, if you go through the application process, it's gonna be probably, best case scenario, January, having somebody in place, probably gonna be more likely with the holidays coming, it's gonna probably be February. Will they get put in office in February or appointed or whatever, then they got to be sworn in, that's gonna put you March, the next meeting. In November, they're up for reelection.
And they
So
gotta
just
go
by the
down.
time they get their feet wet, any at all, they can be voted right back out.
Because they gotta go down and put their name in. Then you got the campaigning process. I mean, so.
So it's, I'm like Keith, both ways have their good and bad.
Yeah. If we stick with, tradition, like I said, worst case scenario, it'll be February, March. If we go with the motion, we can have that, have person in place by December, be sworn in by December.
In January.
Well, yeah, January. And we won't really miss a beat.
then we could do the, application method. And, that we could, pick the, board member, next meeting in January. And the person that we pick, that we swear them in the same night.
I don't know that you ever get it done by then, because you're in the holiday season. Because in order to do that, you're gonna have to have a called meeting to come back here. You're gonna have to set up a time frame of advertisement, which it can be 1 week, 2 weeks. That's gonna put you right at Christmas. And I can tell you, my schedule from now till Christmas is absolutely insane. I've got something every night between now and Christmas, just about. So I don't think you'll ever get it done by the January meeting. And if we were 2 months earlier, it probably wouldn't be an issue. But I don't think you ever get it advertised and the interview's done before January. I just don't think you do it. 'Cause like I said, you got to do the interviews, then you've got to come to the conclusion of which one you're gonna put in place.
Because if it goes like it did with me both times, they'll come in here, we'll ask questions, they'll say what they say to us, we'll ask them to step out. We'll be in here talking for however long before the decision is made. And like I said, the applicant that I've seen, the email that I've seen, is very impressive to me. I don't think if the person walked up to me and gave me a hug, I really couldn't tell you who they were. But looking at the application, I'm like, okay, that's impressive. I think it would help us. This is my personal opinion. And to sit here and keep kicking the ball down the hallway, and I had to kick it back up the hallway sooner or later. It may be the same ball that we playing with. So.
Well, I think for that the
board needs to be open, as open as possible, to give those who may want to be on the board and an opportunity to apply. Instead of just 3 people making the decision to,
We're still gonna be the same 3 people.
At the end of the day.
It's the same 3 people.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing.
but that's versus one application that you have versus other people having an opportunity to put in an application.
Okay, let me ask this question. Who else have we heard from, other than the other name that was put in the email?
That it hasn't been advertised.
I don't.
That
That goes right back to just like you said, the board needs to be open.
Go Commissioner Rose just got sworn in today.
Okay.
Because he was still our commissioner just a few hours ago.
Mm-hmm. Now, so let me ask you a question. When did he get the position?
Today.
When did he get the position? When did he find out about the position?
I don't know.
Commissioner Rhodes, when did you find out about your position?
It's a couple weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago. So we had a couple of weeks ago to advertise.
But we have not advertised at all.
But we dropped the ball. But we had a couple of weeks ago to advertise. And a couple of weeks ago, the person that sent the email knew about it. Said, hey, let me do my due diligence. Boom. No one else has come forth, other than the name that I think you put in there. And to me, that would be ludicrous to put that back in.
Well, let me switch this. Mr. Tarr, is there a reason that you came here tonight?
Concerned about the community, want to be involved.
Okay.
He said concerned about the community and want to be involved. He didn't say he was coming to put his name in.
Okay.
Well, if that's the question, I have inquired about what the process is going to be.
Okay. Well, see, here it is. Now, it goes right back to if we're gonna get down to apples and bananas and peaches and pears, it goes right back down to, and I can use myself, because the day that I came in here, it was told if he submits his application before the meeting, we'll consider it. Mr. Tartt, not being funny, have you submitted your application?
I was not aware of the process.
So if we're gonna still stay apples and oranges, let's stay apples and oranges.
The board has not even named a process, and so how can the man put in an application whenever the board has not even made a process?
But you just said we had a process of application. Then you said we need to be open. So we're being open.
I disagree.
And that's your right.
Yeah.
But I don't think we need to keep kicking the ball. I mean, let's say if we're gonna do an application process, let's set a time, let's make it happen. Let's do what we do. I don't think we need to keep kicking this around, because we got too much sitting on the floor that we need to make happen.
Well, I'm not asking anybody to kick it around. That I'm just asking the board to make a decision.
I'll tell you. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Today is The second. All right, advertise it to the 9th. Advertise to the 9th. Whatever we have by the 9th, then we look at in January.
Till the 9th of what?
We advertise to the 9th of December. Set up a date that we can come back in and try to have it done before the end of the month.
Now, by doing that, we're gonna have to go to the application method, which means they would run in the next election. So, just to clarify.
Yeah, because like I say, it not being, and I guess I'm looking at it totally different, but not being willing to just say, hey, look, let's roll with what we got. If we run into a situation that in the election, that out of these 3 seats that come open, we get 3, possibly 4 new people, then that'll fall in your plate.
No, that actually falls in the plate of the citizens because the citizens would have spoken. Because that's why
So
they call.
that's contradictory.
Because that's why they have free elections.
That's contradictory. Because one name that's been thrown out there, the citizens spoke. Why would you want to put it right back in office?
Citizens can change their mind if they want. And I'm not trying to put anybody's name out there.
Well, you did the email.
So Commissioner Robinson, are you wanting to do a motion for the?
Yeah, I would say,
the motion method?
I would like to do the motion method.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yeah. That I would make a motion that we go with the said name that we have.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, so I have a first.
Go through that motion again. I'm so sorry, but please, what was the motion?
I would like to make a motion that we go with the said name, the said application that we have.
Thank you.
For a candidate.
Option 1.
Yeah, option 1.
Which is the motion method.
I guess it's Ashley Boyette.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I have a first, I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Okay, so motion passes 2-1. All right. Have I missed anything? As far as-
2 comments.
Okay.
You did? Okay, sorry. I thought you had something. Just a reminder, Wednesday, this Wednesday from 2 to 4, we will be celebrating County Commissioner Mike Rose. Congratulations. And also, just to let the board know that we did receive a $45,000 grant through RC2, which is Department of Commerce Rural Economic Development Division. Roughly $30,000 of that is going to a park and rec master plan, and the other 15 is going to 2 new entrance signs for the town. But we're going to get another quote on the Parks and Rec master plan. The one that we got is a little high. And then reminder, the town Christmas party is December 14th at 6 at Jay's in Goldsboro. And everybody, thanks to Daniel Toole's wife, has encouraged everybody to wear ugly sweaters.
So,
and we need to know Friday if you can or cannot come for a head count on that.
To
the party, yes, sir.
So the $45,000 grant, you say 30,000 of it is for a capital,
Parks and
excuse me,
Rec
a
master.
Parks and Rec master plan.
Correct.
The other 15,000 is for new signs at the entrances to town.
Yeah, and that can be adjusted. I did talk with them, that can be adjusted based off the quote of the price of the Park and Rec master plan.
So does it carry, it carries precedence over, I guess we need to do that.
It could be split, it could be split, but the way we presented it, we had put in 30 for the Park and Rec master plan, 15 for the signs. But talking with them, if we need to adjust it, they're willing to work with us on adjusting money. That's why I said if we can get a lower quote on the Park and Rec master plan, which I feel like we can, because the one we got was 28,000. I'm hoping we can get it down to about 15 or 20. And then split the difference for the new town entrance signs.
Are you gonna call Adrian O'Neill and get a couple more names to get quotes from?
Yes. Yep. And ECU also had recommended a couple names to contact for Park and Rec master plan, and they have a department there that actually assists in writing those. So there's a good chance we might be able to get a intern to help with that. We did have the guy from UNC that started the Park and Rec master plan for us. He got really in-depth to it. We got surveys and all that stuff, so we're going to pull that information and put it in with the new plan.
Okay. And where was I going with that? There was something else I was going to ask. I can't remember.
Okay.
Let me say this, Mr. Tart. I don't want you to think that I have a issue or anything with you. I don't know you, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just not comfortable with possibly putting the town in a state that they're unsure about. When I took my oath to serve this town to the best of my ability, and one thing that I did say to the board at that time, even when I came in the interview, I don't mind standing by myself. I came in this world by myself. I lead by myself. But I don't want you to think that, you know, it was a shot at you or I don't like you or nothing like that. Because like I said, I don't know you. I just want to make sure that we're covered in everything that we're doing. And we're doing, you know, to the best of our ability. So I didn't want to put that out there.
With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Hold. So, when are we gonna have the swearing in?
That's what we were just talking about. I think it would be January unless we were to do a called meeting earlier.
Well, we could
Just
do
to
it
do it.
January 6th at the beginning of the meeting,
Yes.
and then she could take a seat. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
As long as that works.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm good with that if everybody else is.
So, what is the deal on not swearing her in?
Not swearing her in? What do you mean?
No, I'm talking about, like now.
Is she here?
Yes, right there.
Oh, see, and I never met her. I don't honestly, I don't know her. But who will be the person to swear in?
I'm just a fan of Mike Rose. I just wanted to be here.
Let me make a phone call real quick. I'll get you that.
Yeah, 'cause
Cause I think the only person here that can swear her in would actually be Mike Rose.
No,
I would love that.
I wanted to
I'm
thank
pretty sure
you
I can swear her in.
for being so kind to my nephew.
Oh, you had a good time.
He, I
Really?
don't know if
Well, I mean, it has been
he's
elected
here because his
officials.
mother
I mean,
called.
I'm
And they came and he extended his stay, and it meant the world to me that you were so kind
Well,
and did
I need to
that.
take a point of
I
personal
greatly
I missed
appreciate
it
that.
long ago.
And he just
Glad
has
it's
had a
closed.
ball going up there. He
Can
went
I say
real
something
late
really
one
quick?
night.
Yeah.
Well, I think he said
He's there now.
Is he there
We
now?
were down there.
And if you would, come up to the podium.
Yeah, he said that was the greatest thing that that
Gee,
we
well, let me
have.
get that stuff
So
off.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
That's fine.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready to start. No, I'm just kidding. I just asked if I could say
Yes,
something.
we,
Okay, I just wanted to.
Bob said it would be good if you did it.
Okay.
If you got what needs to be read, And then you can type it up tomorrow, she can come out and sign it. But if you can just provide,
I can.
She's got it, but
and then if you don't mind reading it,
I don't mind, but it is kind of a special occasion. She may have had invited family
Yeah.
or something to be a
There,
part.
there is no one I would rather have.
and we can't, and if you want to get sworn in tonight, fine.
That's fine,
We did
just let
have
me fix my
a
hair.
introduction, whatever,
That's fine.
in January, you can do that.
I don't have a whole much to say, but I just want to thank y'all, and I promise I will prove myself to you. You have been on this board for a long time, and I have so much respect for you. I know you don't know me, and I think honestly that's the best thing about this is that you don't know me, and you just read me on paper, and you felt that I was worthy. I love Princeton. This is home to me, and I just want it to be a great place that it is. And that's my only agenda here is to serve this community. So I just want to thank y'all.
Well, let me just say this, that in my email, that I actually remember you back from a couple of years ago.
Sure.
Anyway. But once I saw your thing that you had written, I said, well, she's more than qualified. I mean, matter of fact, I made mention that you were qualified to be a town administrator. So, yeah, and so that you have a lot of the background information that this board needs.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope I will serve y'all in the community well. So thank you.
And Jimmy does currently serve on our planning board.
Right.
And we do have a vacant position on the Board of Adjustment that has been advertised, so I may mention that to him as well, see if he's interested in being on the Board of Adjustment.
Well, Ms. Boyette is on the planning board.
But she will resign probably tomorrow. She'll have to. Yeah, so we'll have a vacant seat on that one as well. But we did have one member on the Board of Adjustment that can no longer serve, so that seat is open on the Board of Adjustment. And everything. I think you've been on planning board a couple months.
Yeah, a couple of months. Tuesday's a problem, so I teach Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SEC, so if we could ever get that worked out.
Yeah, I think we can definitely work around it. We talked about moving into the Monday after the scheduled board meeting. So it'd be the second Monday.
You know, Riley
But
just
if we do
supports
it, we probably won't start that till
So he just
January.
says, okay, Ashley, see you, let me know. See you. Be quiet when you come home.
As far as the alternate file,
You can
go primary or is that process?
Yeah.
That's that other meeting.
Goes on an alternate, will I slide into a primary or we have to process?
On the,
Planning committee.
you'll have a vote on, Board of Adjustment, you'll have a vote. Planning board, let me check, because I think one other person might be resigning off of that, and if it does, you would have a vote on that one too. I know Board of Adjustment you would. Planning board, I think you would if this other person resigns. You get somebody to hold your Bible.
Well, this was not anticipated, but glad I came. Yeah, so it's been a big day, and this is a great way to end it out, I guess. So anyway, put the Bible on the left hand, raise your right hand. Okay. So repeat after me. I, Ashley Boyette,
I, Ashley Boyette,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established for the government thereof,
which are or may be established for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support,
and that I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend the Constitution
maintain, and defend the Constitution
of said state, not inconsistent
of said state, not inconsistent
with the Constitution of the United States,
with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Ashley Boyette,
I, Ashley Boyette,
do swear that I will well and truly execute
do swear that I will well and truly execute
the duties of the office of Town Commissioner for the Town of Princeton,
the duties of the Town Commissioner for the Town of Princeton,
the office of Town Commissioner for the Town of Princeton, according to the best of my skill
according to the best of my skill
and ability according to law.
and ability according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. There you go. We'll sign right here. There you go.
You weren't expecting this, were you?
I was not. All right.
Thank
Give this
you.
to April. All right. Here you go.
Thank you.
All right.
Anything from the county side yet?
No, I'm working on it. Anytime, anytime.
Yours.
Oh.
All right.
So I didn't say anything about Mike. I know you spoke at the beginning of the meeting, you know, saying something I didn't know if I don't want to say anything when he was here.
Did anybody else want to say anything to my brothers?
Mike, just thank you for your service while I was here on the board, man. Pray and your best, and you know, do what you do, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
You still gonna be here.
I know. I'm not. I'm going to be here. I'm not moving away. Business is here. Home is here.
I'm just glad I got to be able to go and watch you.
Thank you. Yeah,
You had
thank
the
you.
whole town at his
Thank you
house
for coming. Yeah. Yeah, and I missed the whole town at my house tonight. Yeah, evidently it was a big deal. I don't know. Yeah.
And just congratulations, that I'm sure that you will do a great job. Princeton will be proud.
Thank you so much.
And I want to say, you know, Mike, appreciate, you know, all you've helped me with, keeping me right on the motions and all the stuff, and just looking after me and helping me get through things. But we appreciate you and hope you do well with the commissioner seat. Please don't forget us.
No, and I was going to say, anything I can do, I mean, even though I don't have a vote anymore, I do have 11 years of being here, and will be glad to, you know, if you say, hey, do you remember what this was about? Call me up. You know, I'll be glad to help out.
We do need $500,000 for radio read meters.
Okay. All right.
On speed dial.
That sounds good. Yeah.
I'll hit you about 4 o'clock in the morning.
All right.
All right. Well, with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
There it is.
You do?
And a second.
Yes.
And we out of here at 9:34.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for all that.
You're welcome.